Bitcoin shoots up $1,500 from yesterday's low, and the question of the day, is this rally real? Anyways, a few setups to be going over today, as well as a continuation of yesterday's analysis. Other than that, I'm going to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's a nice, very dreary, very rainy, actually, Wednesday morning over here from Helsinki, Finland, and it's time to just get right into it. So I'm going to bring you over here to the chart view, and let's jump right into the first chart, starting off with the 4-hour HPDR indicator. I think this one's just been doing a phenomenal job at getting the ranges. I've been tweeting these out on Twitter, or X-ing them, or whatever the fuck, over there. I'm putting them out over there. Because I think that they just accurately summarize the current short-term range, especially on the 4-hour right here. You can see Bitcoin bouncing off of the bottom side of the prior range lows, about 28,700. Yes, there was wick lower. That's fine. No closures below. And then, of course, while I was sleeping, Bitcoin shoots up about $1,500, just past $30,000, and now kind of giving up a little bit of those gains. So the question is, or to kind of answer the question, is this rally real? As long as Bitcoin's operating within this blue range right here, there's really nothing that's new, honestly. To the top side, we're still looking at 30,250 as getting the range highs, and the bottom side would still be the bottom side would still be the range lows here. That is to say that based off of yesterday's analysis on the very high term timeframes, looking at the monthly, obviously, August typically is a corrective month. Is that last move to the downside enough? Well, it won't be enough if we do see a closure below those range lows. That's the way that I look at it right here. But we'll come up with some setups later that'll give us a bit of a probabilistic scenario on top of the HPDR indicator. By the same token, to the upside, really need to see Bitcoin start to close higher term timeframes above that 30,250 pivot until I really start to look at this as a potential major low right here, with Bitcoin likely to work its way sideways and up past current highs. Anyways, yes, moving on to the next chart, I did just want to go over the daily CME. If I do want to present a little bit of hopium, this would be it. The daily is bouncing off that green 55 exponential moving average right here, and if it can start to close above about $30,000, yeah, this is going to start to look like a nice little short-term low, and likely to try back up into the lower $30,000 territory. With that said, daily RSI would also be regaining the moving average on this one and reclaiming the neutral zone right there as well. Might even call that, or is it going to be divergence? No, this wouldn't be divergence in this case, but the daily jewel would actually be supporting this, on that current side as well, with that light blue cyan color and the DMI in the background there as well, all on the same side, which is generally good. But of course, it's a long day left to go. 14 hours, 8 minutes, and 12 seconds and ticking right now. So I do want to go into some more probabilistic scenarios, like I said, a little bit later, to kind of come up with, where these situations really do start to change around, and where we can actually start to come at this from a more, what's the word that I'm looking for, quantitative angle. Anyways, before that, I do want to go through stochastic momentum. As we went over yesterday, all time frames were headed to the downside, and we did get a short-term downside move, or Bitcoin got a short-term downside move rather, and while it did bounce off those lows, we saw that all of the momentum oscillators were kind of around that critical zone. So it was suggesting that, hey, while Bitcoin probably does try to the downside, this was yesterday, by the way, which it did, there's probably not a whole hell of a lot of downside in the more near term. And so what are we seeing right now? Well, we're seeing the daily already pop back up. This one's going to be continuing with upside momentum, assuming that the daily closes above basically $29,000. 12-hour time frame also going to be freshly up and working its way out of the bearish control zone, as long as Bitcoin's above 29,300, again on a closing basis. 6-hour time frame also fresh up above 28,900. 4-hour time frame is also going to be showing upside above 28,900, and hourly is going to be showing downside below 30,150. So a little bit of a short-term correction right there, which is going to lead us into our setups that I'm about to get into, but kind of the opposite of yesterday. Basically, you can see how these things change around. So first things first, I want to go over short-term time frame setup. This is for the hourly. This is actually a Jewel Lite based setup. It's a downside setup, and in this case, what we're looking at is we're looking at the Jewel Lite getting above, I believe I have it at set at 70 or 75. We'll actually go through the settings in a second here, which I'll just raise up over here. There we go. And then turning white on that first tick confirmed, which happens right here. has initiated a setup alongside PMARP being above 75 percentile simultaneously. And in that case, there has been a higher probability of a short-term downside move. So again, this is the hourly, a relatively short-term time frame here. But out of the last 249 trades, we can see that 64.25% of them basically did play out with a nice short-term downside move. For the people who are going to probably ask about this, because every time we bring these damn scripts up, we get some emails about them. I do want to let you know that this is the Krown Quant automation script, basically, or as we call it, the skeleton key. I absolutely fucking love it. I'll even go through the settings right now. You can just copy this one if you want. If you already have it, go for it. You know, assuming that you like these, you know, this curve over here. It's not anything spectacular, but it's okay. A little bit of a higher probability again in favor of short-term downside. But as we can see here, you know, just going through it, yeah, PMARP above 75 percentile, and take profit was below 25 percentile. What else do I have as far as entry conditions? That's actually it. Very simple one right here. And then it's only trading on Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. To get that sort of a curve right there. So in this case, that would suggest that, yeah, Bitcoin probably does try a little bit of short-term downside. Does it cough up the full rally that we just saw, thus confirming this as a bit of a bull trap that we saw over the last 24 hours? Well, I would say that that's likely if Bitcoin starts to fall back down and close below the average of the current range lows on the 4-hour time frame, which is actually 29.5, which is getting pretty close to current price action, to be fair. But going back into it over here, that would suggest that there's actually a decent probability of that, because, well, that fired off at 29,630. So how close are we actually to seeing this one try to take profit? Not close at all. Not close at all, to be fair. So that would be, yeah, more downside angled. On the other side, however, again, keeping in mind that this is an hourly, and an hourly can play out, or of course can fail as well. I mean, we've certainly seen some of these fail in the past month now. The past month, I mean, it feels like nothing's basically happened, but you know, an hourly, now I'm going to bring you over to a 12-hour time frame here for a 12-hour setup. This again can be done with the skeleton key, but I'm just using a more streamlined script for it. And in this case, it's kind of the opposite strategy of what we just looked at, like for the long side, basically on the 12-hour. However, so again, hourly time frame versus 12-hour time frame. Obviously, there's, you know, 12 hourly dildos in a fucking 12-hour time frame. So, you know, theoretically, both these could play out, to be fair. But this one, a little bit of a higher probability here, about 68%, have played out with a nice upside move fashion. We did identify one relatively recently that was back here. This one did fail. It wasn't like a huge loss, 30,150 versus about, yeah, 29,150. There's $1,000 right there, no doubt about that. You know, and that is significant. Don't get me wrong. However, you know, on a 12-hour time frame, we are typically talking about big numbers. To give it perspective, the performance summary will show us the average winning trade. Holy shit, almost 10%. Almost 10% right there. So, you know, $1,000 on this is certainly not anywhere near 10%, I don't believe. Yeah, about 3%. So I'd say that's actually a rather easy one. In this case, this one did fire off at the end of last week on Thursday, actually, at about 29,200. So that would suggest that it does have a higher probability of an upside move over a little bit more prolonged period of time. In this case, we go to the average amount of bars in the winning trades, 21. So 21 on a 12-hour time frame. That's just over 10 days or 10 and a half days. And how far are we into this one right now? 5.5 days. So still theoretically likely, you know, another 5.5 days to go, you know, close to it. Contrast that, you know, which with the other setup that we looked at on the hourly. And if we go through the performance summary, I should have actually gone through the average return on this one. That would have made things a lot more easy. And damn it, it's not loading now, you bastard. How dare you? TradingView. Why do you do this to me? Why do you embarrass me like this? Why do you embarrass me like this, sir? If that even is your real name. Let's see if we can get this one to motherfucker, man, it doesn't want to load right now. This is the worst thing about using scripts on TradingView. When they get like super complicated like this, if you change one little setting, sometimes TradingView just says, how about no? You know. But anyways, looks like we got it working again. So should be able to load it this time, and then we can go through the performance summary in the hourly and then kind of compare them and see what that would align with, because I think that would be rather interesting. Anyways, as far as time or average amount of bars and winning trades, 14 bars, so that'd be 14 hours. That's literally less than a day. And then the average amount in a winning trade, 179. Whoops, you can see it right there. You can't see it. All right, well, 179. Yeah, again, these are averages, but taking it down, let's just see, where would that put Bitcoin if it were to cough up 179? That would put it actually all the way back down towards 29,150, 29,200 or so. So yeah, if that does play out, then I would say that this is going to be a trap, and you're not going to see the 12-hour time frame play out, and you're going to see very, very likely this fail over here. But until then, you know, well, to be fair, the hourly time frame did have a slightly lower probability than the 12-hour time frame. So there you go. I'll leave it right there. Of course, I'm just presenting the statistics. You make your own decisions for yourself. I'll be signing off on that note. As always, I want to wish you the best of bets. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Thursday.